Hey guys, welcome to the show. This is Mac Reviews. I'm Mac, your messy internet cousin. If you love to watch trashy reality TV, this is the show for you. Um, we're talking about Love After Lockup, season 5, episode 7. Let's get into it. So I'm going to talk about the annoying, boring people really quickly because I couldn't stand just get these people off. Get these people off. Hopefully we don't see them next week. Andy and Brittany, I'm tired of them. They're both trash. So I'm explaining why I'm saying that. I'm tired of them. And Andy continues to think that they have some kind of deep connection and they can still make this work, even though she's being quite direct about her disgust toward him, how much she doesn't want him, she doesn't want to be there. She's being extremely direct, and he's just refusing to acknowledge it. She's insulting him. She's asking him for money. She's just being disgusting, and he can't take it anymore, so he takes off his mic and exposes his disgusting stomach. We didn't want to see that. And he walks off. Um, but yeah, I'm tired of this couple. They obviously are not together. Brittany is ridiculous. She's foolish. They're both fools. Um, I don't feel sorry for Andy at all because Andy has been exposed. Look him up on YouTube. A YouTuber exposed him. Apparently, he has been watching Love After Lockup for years. He's been commenting on the show on Reddit, and he said some pretty, really nasty, gross things about the cast members. And I'm not just talking about criticism, but talking mostly about their appearance, coming for how people look. And I guess Andy hasn't looked in a mirror or doesn't think we can see him. He has no place to talk about anybody's appearance. Even if, he was great looking, it would still be disgusting, but it's especially bad considering how he looks. He probably is insecure or something and tries to put down other people to make himself feel better because how dare you? Look in the mirror. Okay, stop it. So, yeah, I don't feel sorry for this couple. I'm tired of seeing them. They're not entertaining. They need to go. I don't want to see them next week. I fast forwarded through them. If they're there next week again, I'm gonna keep fast forwarding. So next, Renika and Asante, I think they're finally done too. They were slightly less annoying than Andy and Brittany, but still, there's not much there. She finally speaks to him and she confronts him about, leading her on, lying to her, deceiving her. He doesn't deny. He tries to deny that he lied to her and deceived her, but she was like, "What are you talking about?" And so he just was quiet. She walked off. The producers try to get him to tell the truth. He finally says that the girl that he went to see was one of his girls, um, a friend that he said he known since childhood. He says they slept together. She got the phone for him. He admits that he has multiple girlfriends. He said he had Renika, he had another girl, he had his baby mama, which I guess is the girl that they said was 5 months pregnant when he passed away. Um, he says, oh, his dad had a lot of women, so that's just all he knows. I'm like, oh, so you just continuing that generational curse? Like this dude, we see people like this on this show either every season or every other season who just don't want anything out of life. Him and Brittany, just they're liars, they're deceivers, they're users. So yeah, she just curses him out. I guess the producers asked him to go outside so they could argue, and she's just cursing him out, and that's it. She walked off. She went with the investigator, and it's over. So we won't see her next week, thank God. It's about time we didn't see this couple anymore. Now let's get into the people that were actually interesting this episode, Melissa and Louis. So Louis makes a heart-shaped pizza to bring as a peace offering to Melissa. And she's like, "Oh, is this an apology for a guilty conscience?" And he was like, "I don't have a guilty conscience." Because he knows he didn't do anything wrong. He's trying not to laugh at her. She sounds so dumb. And she's like telling him, "Oh, I want you to understand that I'm worried about you cheating, about when I leave, that whether you or not you're going to be faithful to me." And she claims that he's, quote, making it hard. And he's not. Like, pretty much what's happening here to me is that she's very insecure. She even says this to him, "Oh, how do I know you're not trying to find someone better?" And for some reason, Melissa is insecure about him cheating on her. I guess because he just got out of jail and he hasn't dealt with a woman in 10 years physically, like in person. And it's just really sad that because of her insecurity and her being concerned that he came out of jail, which listen, that's a legitimate concern. He did just go out of jail, so maybe don't date a man who just came out of jail, but it's not really right to project her insecurity on him and make it seem like he's doing something wrong when he's not. I just feel like this was a mental health problem, and hopefully she goes to a therapist or does some reflection or journaling because this has nothing to do with him. This is just about her insecurities and her own fears that she needs to deal with, and it's not fair to him. Actually, I can't believe I'm defending the inmate, but it's not right. He didn't do anything wrong. I don't know if this was scripted. I don't know if the producers, I don't know if this was real, but if it was, he really needs to check herself because that man didn't do anything wrong. Um, so then we see that Melissa sets him up with an appointment to see a dentist about his teeth. He told us that he actually had all his teeth when he went in, but in jail, they put in temporary fillings and then they fall out. So they just extracted his teeth when he was having pain. So that's why his front teeth are gone. His top teeth are gone. And so he feels really insecure about it. So she's gonna pay for him she paid for the consultation, which we know there are like places that do like a cheap consultation when you don't have insurance. And they pretty much told him like, you could get dentures or you could get implants. She would prefer for him to get the implants, but the implants are really expensive. They quoted her 35K and the dentures would be 4880 $4,800. Louis says he's fine with getting dentures. He's not trying to like convince her of anything because he knows he doesn't have money yet. So he's saying, "Hey, I'll get dentures." Like, which it was actually cool that he really was pretty. He was positive about it. He wasn't trying to push anything. He was just like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it if that's cheaper." But she was like, "Oh, I don't want to see dentures. That's not sexy. That's gonna be a turn off for me." So I mean, if she said she's want to pay for it, so I guess she's probably gonna take the money from the show and do it because they did 2 seasons. But I mean, I don't think they got 35K, but from the 2 seasons. But maybe that's what they'll do. So um, so yeah, that was them. That wasn't much either, but at least it was interesting. Now let's talk about Chelsea and Mike. I'm gonna call him Mike. I don't want to call a grown man Mikey. That's a name for a little boy that's named Michael. We're gonna call him Mike. So this was quite interesting. So Mikey is saying that he's sexually frustrated because day two. It's only the second day and they haven't slept together, so he's upset. He's frustrated, and it appears that she still has not told him that she wants to wait to have sex and told him why. She needs to tell him. She needs to communicate with him. I really think she should. Um, so then she gets a call from her friend Gio. He's watching her kids, and this made me laugh because Gio seems like he's just really done with her kids. He probably doesn't have any kids of his own because he just seemed really frustrated. He said he's been trying to get a hold of her because her kids were sick, they didn't sleep. But he said he gave them medicine and they finally fell asleep. But he was signing real aggressively, like he was just frustrated. And he tells her that he got her mail and that he read one of her letters, which I was like, "You're okay with your friend reading your mail?" But I don't know. So she didn't seem to have a problem with it. So he showed her a letter that she got from the Social Security Administration. Apparently, she's on SSI, and she said she gets it through her dad or something. And he, it says that apparently her benefits are going to get cut off, and she gets really like she's frustrated. She's really upset because she says she uses that to take care of her kids. She's a single mom, and I know when we met her last season, she said that she was a housekeeper, so I don't know if she's not working anymore, but um she's really upset and it's understandable. And she tells Mikey to leave. She gets upset at him. I think she's frustrated. I think she's frustrated at the situation and she's kind of taking that out on him, which I don't think is fair to Mike. Not fair to him because he didn't do anything wrong. He even was asking her like, "Can you translate? Like, let me know what's going on." Like he wanted to know, and she was like, "I can't worry about interpreting and talking to him." And so she was really mean to him. And on the one hand, I understand. why she's upset. Like, of course, she's thinking about her children. She's a single mother, but at the same time, like, it's not really fair to take that out on him. And so I'm wondering about Chelsea's communication. Like she's not telling him, "Hey, I want to wait to have sex. Are you okay with that? This is why I want to wait. I've been in abusive relationships. I don't want to rush into anything. I want to know that I can trust you before I sleep with you," which is perfectly reasonable. And if he can't respect that, he ain't the one for her. But she's not even having that conversation with him. And then now she's really frustrated about possibly losing a source of income that she relies on to take care of her family. And she can't say to him, "Look, I'm worried. I'm scared. I don't know how to deal with you right now because I have to think about my kids." She's not able to do that. And so I think he's frustrated because he doesn't understand that. And so um, I think that's what's going on here. She takes him to see an attorney because he wants to see if he can get representation to sue I guess, sue the Department of Corrections because of the stroke that he had. Now, during Love During Lockup, he claimed that he had a stroke and that's why she couldn't get a hold of him. And a lot of us thought that he was lying, that he was playing her. Come to find out, he actually had a stroke. So, yeah, wow. He legitimately had a stroke. He said that they were playing softball. They did some kind of uh game with the inmates and he was playing softball and while he hit the ball and he was running, he started feeling a tingling all on his left side from the top of his head to I guess his feet. And he said that his vision was blurry. Um and so then he said the prison nurse told them to call an ambulance, but then they canceled it and they got a transport and they put him in restraints on like a a gurney, I think that's what it's called, a stretcher. And when he got to the hospital, the nurses were like they saw, I don't know if they recognized the signs of a stroke, and the one nurse was like, "You got to take those off of him or he's gonna die." So he wants to see if he can get any compensation because he feels like his rights were violated. And I don't know, maybe they were. I mean, we really out here didn't think he had a stroke. We thought that we dealt with so many liars on the show. There's several liars on the season right now. So this man legitimately had a real stroke. So yeah, I mean, hopefully he can get some kind of compensation. The attorney said, when it comes to settlements, this could take 6 to 8 months, which is true. I've been in a car accident, so I've been through this, and it's true it can take up to a year, if not more, depending on several factors. So um yeah, but this is one of those attorneys that doesn't get paid unless you get the settlement. So he won't have to worry about fees and the attorney will just take a portion. But he said he has no problem working. He said he's never had a problem getting a job. So I'm like, so how come you were criming? Why were you robbing if you never had a problem getting a job? But okay. I mean, that's good if he's willing to get legitimate work. So, she's still worried about her getting a getting money to take care of her kids. She didn't come in with him because she was like, there's not going to be anyone there to interpret. He wanted her to come in, but she was like, who's going to interpret for me? You can just tell me. And he even said like, okay, yeah, he would have liked her to come in, but she's right. Like he wouldn't have, it would have been hard for him to try to talk and interpret. Of course, he's never interpreted. He just, basically knows how to sign with her. He probably can't even really interpret. So then, so when she comes back in the car, he tells her what happened, and she was like, okay. And she didn't really react, and he was like, "You're mad at me." And then she was like, "I'm not mad, I'm just tired." And then he was like, "No, I can see it in your body language." And she was like, "No, I'm just tired. I'm okay." And so then he says he's gonna take a walk. And I don't know how long he took that walk for because she goes over and she's like, "Hey, let's go." And he's like, I'm not he refused to get in the car with her because he said she's mad at him. And then she was like, "Okay, bye." And she drove up. I was like, I like Chelsea. Chelsea is not like the women we usually see on this show. A lot of the women on this show and men are desperate. They're desperate. They take anything from the inmate. They don't have any standards. They don't have any boundaries. They don't have any rule. Like they just take whatever. And she's not taking whatever. She's like, I don't. She didn't beg him. She didn't. She was like, okay, whatever. Bye. Like I think Chelsea feels like, listen, I have more other things to deal with. My kids and taking care of me, my family is more important than you. So, so, and he talking about she's mad, like, he knows she's not mad. He's just what he really wanted to say was, I didn't like how you reacted to me this morning. What's going on with you? And, so the communication is breaking down here. And he says, oh, she doesn't come back. He's in a relationship because he doesn't want to be with somebody who's gonna drive off on him. And it's like, I mean, if she cared about that, she wouldn't have drove off. So, they need to communicate a little better about, how she feels and how he feels. They need to talk. They're not communicating, even though they know how to sign. They're not saying their feelings. It just kind of shows, just like, if you speak the same language, that doesn't mean you're communicating well. And even though they both are able to do sign language, they're still not communicating well. So, okay, now let's talk about Joinomi and Raylan. That's his name. That's what his mama called him. That's what his mama named him. So that's what I'm gonna call him. But for some reason, he has this nickname Red. He doesn't appear to be a light-skinned person, so I don't know why. Maybe red is his favorite color. So they finally meet. He gets out. It looks like this prison allows cameras on the property. We a lot of times, uh, we don't see that. Most prisons that we've seen on this show don't allow the cameras on the property, but they did. So he's really happy. He hugs his mom and his sister. His sister's crying. His cousins are there. Him and Joinomi meet in person for the first time, and he seems happy to see her. So I noticed his hair is really long. Wow, he grew that hair out. Very long locks. It looks like in the confessional he went and got them twisted. He got his roots taken care of. His hair looks great. Good for him. So, and it looked good. He had, yeah, anyways, his hair looks good. So he claims that he wants to be with Joinomi for the rest of his life. That's yet to be seen. So, and then, okay, so him and Joinomi do seem happy to see one another. He's hugging her, he's kissing her, they're hugging and kissing, and there's a moment where it appears like they're about to get in the cars, and him and Joinomi are kissing, and it looks like the family is staring at them. And I don't know if that really happened or if the producers just edited it to seem that way because it's awkward. Why would you just be staring at people while they're kissing? Like I looked away from them. I don't like looking at people when they're kissing. But anyways, so they go to a restaurant to eat and Red is just saying like how he regrets how the his incarceration affected his loved ones. Like he sees how it hurt them and he apologized to them. One of his cousins is crying because she's like, you missed everything. You missed me going to college, my graduation, me getting a job, getting a new car, getting a play. Like you missed everything. You missed me growing up. And so, he does apologize. And I'm glad to see that he recognizes how his actions affected his family. So, and he says that he got closer to them because he would call them all the time than he was before. So now he sees who cares about him, who's close to him. And so I thought that was really good. So then, um, so the mom, I think the mom brings up her not visiting him, like why that was. And he said, oh, we had some technical difficulties. Know what he meant by that. But she says she's glad now that they can build a relationship on the outside. So, and then he brings up the pregnancy. The mom didn't bring it up. The mom just brought up the girl sending money. So he says, yeah, it was really hard with her pregnancy, but he wants to move past it. And then And then he was like, "Well, yeah, I had these girls send me money. It's kind of after you were dealing with other dudes. I was like, okay, well, I should deal with other women." And I don't see a problem with that. And I don't see how anybody at the table should. Like, they never met in person. So if she was dealing with other dudes, he was dealing with other people because they never met in person, and he was in jail. Even if they did meet in person, that is ridiculous. So who cares? If they're out now, he's out now. If they want to be together, they can be together. But what happened while he was in jail, I don't feel like that has a bearing. It doesn't. He didn't quote unquote cheat. He didn't cheat. There's no cheating when you haven't met the person. That's not a relationship. This was a friendship. This was a pen pal online over the phone friendship. So so then, she says the same thing that she believes him because she asked him about, were you trying to deal with these girls or were they just friends? And then he was like, yeah, they're just friends. And she says she's gonna believe him and let it go because, she knows how it feels to be questioned. So, he goes outside and he tries to FaceTime another girl. And we see in the confessional that he's FaceTiming some girl that he's calling, quote, bestie. So, and he admits, he says, I love women. I really want to talk to women. He said he was talking to about eight. So, I don't know that this guy is gonna be able to be faithful to her, especially when they're in two different states. We'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, this was interesting. I'm glad that they did address uh the girls he was talking to and they addressed her dealing with other dudes. Like that needed to be addressed. So I don't think that needs to be beaten to death at this point. It was dealt with, it was addressed, and that's it. So now let's talk about Sheree and Anthony. Sheree and Anthony, I think, might be the least problematic couple. Like they're not, they I hate to say this, but they kind of remind me of Brittany and Ray. This might be a couple that stays together. Like, I don't know, we'll see. But so we see Sheree and Anthony, his PO calls him and says that he's allowed to go to the party. He can stay out till 1 a.m. I I thought the party was gonna be at her apartment. Come to find out, the party is gonna be at her brother's house. So that's why he needed to get permission. Because I'm like, if he's gonna be at her apartment, why do you need permission? Like, but it makes sense now. So, but I think that he was disappointed because he didn't want to go to that party. And he said it. He said he doesn't care. But he's glad that the PO is giving him a chance because he knows that Sheree spent a lot of money and that she really wanted it. So he's glad that she can be happy, which I think was nice that he considered her feelings. So he's just like not making it a big deal, which I think is good. So then they talk to the mom, and he's saying, like, I don't want you to really be meddling in our relationship, and you need to ease up. And the mom is like, I don't want to be in your relationship, which I'm like, okay, mom, don't lie. Yes, you do. But anyway, so Sheree's brother comes over. They call him Debo, and he's questioning Anthony. He's like, I'm her brother. I look out for her. We're really close. So, what's up with y'all being married? Because he still thinks they're married, and apparently, Anthony's mom thinks they're married too. She hasn't told them that she faked that not birth certificate. She faked that marriage certificate. She hasn't told them the truth. So Anthony didn't say anything. All he said was, you know, what did he say? He was just like, okay, I don't remember what he said actually, but the brother said he wanted to give his blessing. And then, oh, so Anthony was like, oh, well, do I have it or do I have to earn it? And the brother was like, you're gonna have to earn it, which I think is fair. Even if they haven't been married, which they haven't, it's still fair. You just came out of jail. He has to show that he's gonna be faithful and be responsible and stay out of trouble. And so then Sheree was saying that, she feels safe with Anthony because he calms her down. And I thought it was interesting that she said she felt safe with him when he just got out of jail. Like, that's yet to be seen. So, um, and the mom was saying that she thinks that's true because she feels like Sheree is like her. She goes from 0 to 100 and she's like a mini me. And Sheree was like, she's saying, I'm a mini me. What you talking about? She wants me to be like her so bad. And the mom was like, no, you could never be me. But, you know, the mom was just saying that she sees herself in Sheree, which I think was nice. Like, and the brother said the same thing. He was like, she's just saying that she sees herself in you. And that shows that the mom kind of likes her. And honestly, it's not hard to believe that maybe they are similar because some men are attracted to women that have similar traits to their mothers. Not all, but some are. So it's probably true that they are similar, and that's probably why they butt heads because they kind of have similar traits. So she should be glad that the mom sees herself in her. Like the mom is probably a lot, but I think she low key likes Sheree. Like, cause why would she say that? So he was agreeing that they're good for each other. Which I don't know. Again, that's yet to be seen. But so, Anthony is saying he wants to be there for Richie, for her son. And she said that she never introduced her son to any of the dudes she dated, that Anthony is the first dude she did that with, which it's at least good to hear that she doesn't introduce her son to random dudes that she's dating. But even with Anthony, I feel like she should have waited till Anthony got out of jail. But I guess she really takes him seriously, but I don't know. So then they show they show Anthony going with his mom to buy her a ring. And he was acknowledging how he lied to her about being married, and he said he has to make up for that, and so he wants to get a ring and propose to her. And the mom goes with him, and the mom is trying to like help him because he gets a ring, and she's like, it's kind of 1 inch private eye, and she's saying it's small. You need to get something bigger. Like I'm trying to tell you what she's gonna like, which again shows that she likes Sheree because she's trying to look out for her, trying to tell him to get a nice ring. But he was like, "Oh, it's not your money, whatever." So he gets the little ring. I mean, it looked nice, but it was small. The diamonds were small. It was $1,500. It's a nice ring, but I think he should have listened to his mom. And I don't know where he got this money. He paid 1,500 plus tax in cash. So I don't know where that money came from. He must have had some money stashed somewhere because 1,500 in cash. So he has a couple days out of coming out of jail. So yeah. So at least it's his money. He didn't ask her for no money. So they show her at her brother's house because this is when we find out that they're having the party at the brother's house. And the brother is saying he didn't like how the conversation went. And I was like, why not? What was wrong with the conversation? You know? So, he's saying again, like, you're my family. I'm trying to look out for you, and I think it's really good that her brother cares about her and is looking out for her. That's what he's supposed to do. But I didn't actually see anything wrong with what Anthony said, other than the part when he was like, "Oh, I want to talk to Richie's dad." I don't think that's appropriate. You just got out of jail. You need to prove yourself and show that you can be reliable and loyal and do what you said you're going to do. I don't think it's right for him to talk to this man about his child when he's just getting out of jail. I don't think that's appropriate. So, so then there was something interesting because they're talking, and his her brother's wife is a part of the conversation, and she was like, "Oh, you better not." Was it her or Sheree? Sheree was like, "We not y'all better not do him the way we did Brandy," and she was like, "Yeah, I had to fight for y'all love or whatever." So it sounds like the sister-in-law also was incarcerated, but they didn't get into that. And I feel like we should have gotten a little confessional with her because I would like to hear that. If she was in jail, then the brother ain't why the brother being so hard? You are with somebody who was in jail too. So hopefully we get some explanation about that. But yeah, um, Anthony and Sheree are interesting. They're probably the most interesting couple right now. Them and Chelsea and Mikey. I'm enjoying watching those two couples right now. They're interesting. Um, so yeah, thank you for listening, guys. This episode was better than last week. I didn't review last week's because it was so terrible. I just couldn't do it. But look out tomorrow. I'm gonna be reviewing 90 Day Fiance, season 10 of the OG show. That might be out Monday. Also, I'm going to review the Milli Vanilli documentary that's out, and I'm going to review the Unboxing Shein documentary. If you're interested in those, look out for those in the next few days. All right. Thank you for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.